Hello and welcome to Agile World. It's been a while. Hi, Carl.
Hey,
You've been out
Sabrina.
drinking a lot
Sorry,
recently.
what did you say?
You've been out drinking a lot recently. I haven't been invited.
I am like a priest. I hardly ever drink.
It's been a while since we've met up, and it's been a while since we've been on Agile World, so it's quite exciting to be back. We say we keep coming back. We're just back and forth once in a while. So, but yeah, how's it going with you, Carl?
It's good. It's good. My other projects are moving along quite interestingly, and I'm sure they'll be out in the press at some point soon.
Right, so we're not on our own.
Yeah, we have a guest. Shobhit, please introduce the world to you and your subject
hmm
matter because it's fascinating.
Absolutely. So, my name is Shobhit Chugh. I'm a product management career coach, which means I help product managers get better jobs, get promoted, and achieve their potential as much as possible. And past background was a product manager myself at a few startups and then Google.
Cool.
Ooh.
So you can turn a basic product manager into a mega project product manager who's earning 10 times more or 50 times more than they currently do.
I wouldn't claim 10 to 50 times more because that'd be amazing.
Give me the
It's not
But
money.
2x is
Well,
unicorns here, Carl.
sorry, I straight for the jugular. What do
Yeah.
you actually do to help people change the trajectory of their careers? So be more civil in my
Excellent.
question.
Absolutely. So the fundamental thing we help them do is identify things that they are really good at, problems that they solve that other product managers struggle to solve, and then help them understand who's going to really pay them to solve those problems and who's going to pay them top dollar, equity, whatever, keep them happy by solving those problems, and then help them go out into the market and find that right fit for themselves.
Okay, that's really
That's the
interesting.
core
So
of
it's
what we
it's
do.
it's a mixture of self-analysis, market
Yeah.
analysis, and then um, understanding where their true value points are, what the propositions are.
In essence, it's applying product management skill sets to their own careers in a very agile manner. That's what they got to do, and that's what people have been missing.
This is
Okay.
what I love. You know what? It's about time actually, because you see a lot of things being advertised, not just within your area, multiple areas.
Hmm.
Never really understand what is actually entailed to actually be able to do that. So I'm hoping you're going to kind of maybe give us some detail of how you do
Yeah,
actually take me through that process.
absolutely. So jump in. So first thing we begin with is their career strategy. So what does that mean? People would begin by saying, "Oh, I really want to be a product manager at Google." It's like, okay, so that's your feature request in a better world. What are the problems you're looking to solve? Let's talk about that. So we map out their vision for longer term career. We even have them do things like, hey, if I gave you $100 and you could buy a job, how would you spend that money? Do you just want money? Are you just after money? And would you just spend all the $100 after money? Or is there something else that's important? Then, so that's like part one, what you want. Part two is, what have you done so far? So they're literally by listening to them talk about their career and digging in quite a bit, we are trying to uncover essentially the things that they are really good at, but they don't recognize that they're good at that because it's like second nature to them, right? Like, hey, I've some like people have told me stuff like, oh, then we came up with this idea for this audio thing that made Amazon the number one in this category, and then we executed it. I'm like, wait, what did you do? Like,
Yeah.
what? What was that? Oh, that was just simple. Not, it wasn't simple. It was simple for them. And then the marriage of this gives their strategy. This is what I'm going after, and here's why I'm a perfect fit for that. As in, like, rough things.
I love that. I love that. It's similar. I know what you mean actually when you say that because I For example, when I've got to update my CV or when I'm doing something, I kind of when I'm thinking of myself, I normally miss out actually all the really, really key things I did. Because for me, and when you're working, it kind of seems like day by day, this is what I do. So being able to
Yeah,
work through it with another individual who can actually be that second ear listening, you're able to kind of pull out some of those mega achievements that they may not have actually noticed because it feels day to day to them. And it's very
exactly.
similar to if you're actually doing it within an organization of writing a strategy. You're using the
Hmm.
same thing but personalizing it. Oh, I love it.
Exactly.
So how do you
Exactly. And
help people
ChatGPT
frame
cannot
it?
do it.
Sorry, carry
Oh no,
on.
please go on.
Shobhit. So how do you help people
I would
frame
just
it? So,
think,
because I was on a design team back in 2008. I was brought in to make it all work, to tie all the threads together. And I reviewed it and considered that what they were doing was a new business. And the project was originally a subset of an existing business. And it gave market analysis for property. And off the back of the work that I did there, Zoopla was created. Now, if I put on my CV, I created Zoopla, no one responds. Yes, I did. It's one of the things I've done is major innovations. How can you help people frame that so that people that when they read the CVs understand it's true?
yeah, okay. So controversial opinion.
Mhm.
I don't think it's ever going to come across in a CV per se. And we're trying to, in some sense, the applicant tracking system where all CVs go through, we're always trying to go around that. We don't want to win the ATS game. We want those points to be clearly available to a hiring manager outside the CV in form of a story. And then the CV is like sort of the data sheet. There still needs to be some element to it, but then it's like, cool, I did something that was so impactful and whatnot. So I think both things go together. Not the cover letter format that people still write for whatever reason, but like sort of what is your core pitch? We call it your
Your elevator
TMAY.
pitch,
Or,
your 30-second elevator
exactly.
pitch. What did I do that had impact? But I
Exactly.
mean, so are you helping people get in front of the right people, or are you enabling them to have that ready?
Yeah, so we're enabling them to get in front of the right people as well. Sometimes through our network, but just often teaching them how to network effectively. In fact, one person who just graduated, she was saying 70% of her interviews came just from a direct LinkedIn outreach to hiring managers and being very clear, this is why I'm a good fit for this role. And it's amazing the kind of responses she got. So we're enabling that as well. But now back to like, I know I mentioned strategy, but then after that, they got to figure out their story, which
Mm.
is okay. Why am I a good fit? That's like the sort of the proof points, able to tell it effectively. And then you still got to clear the bar for all sorts of interviews from product design to strategy to whatnot, which takes them through the entire journey of the landing that next role.
This is really good, actually. I'm not too sure how the market is in the US at the moment, but I know within the job market within the UK, people are actually struggling. Um,
Oh,
Things are changing massively. Even roles, being able to define your own role, the naming conventions or what you actually do is changing massively, or what organizations actually want. It can be quite confusing to understand who you are and what do you actually do this day and age.
hmm.
Example, I'm classed as a agile coach, enterprise coach, leadership coach. I actually now class myself as I take agility completely out because I'm now realizing I can do a lot more. But I'm not that
Hmm.
only person. Everyone is in that scenario where they're looking at the job market and they're trying to understand and trying to put together all of their knowledge and experience and define who they are. And I know definitely in the product management world as well, this is a
Yeah.
big thing.
Sabrina, what you just mentioned, you didn't say, hey, here's how the market defines me. You say, I am choosing this because that's how I want to be known as.
Yeah.
Now, product managers need to do the same, and they're not. They're relying on standard industry definitions. hey, I'm a fintech product manager, because the last three roles happen to be in finance. You can choose. You can say, my specialization is applying AI to problems that affect large customer bases in highly regulated environments. That could be finance, that could be health, that could be any of the top companies, because they are highly regulated. They're always under scrutiny, always on the threat of being broken up. So you have to choose how you position yourself. And people don't realize how much power they have when they choose that, rather than some common pattern about their last three jobs define what they are.
Almost realizing your specialization, what makes you kind of different, because we all
Yeah,
do have specialties.
exactly.
But actually realizing what your specialization is, which nine times out of ten is what you enjoyed, hence why you've kind of gone deeper into learning and being
Yeah,
able to evolve in that area and being able to highlight
yeah.
that.
I'll add one more word, realizing and then designing, because
Oh,
it's a choice, right? And
yeah.
it's sort of like more thinking of yourself as an entrepreneur rather than, okay, I've worked in these three companies, so the next company has to be like that. That's the shift that people go through, and then the world is their oyster.
Okay. So we know there's a lot of want for need for this type of support and service out there, especially with the way the market is at the moment. So without giving obviously too much away, because we don't want to give your business process away, but what are the steps that you would take somebody through to be able to
Mhm.
get to that stance of almost having, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, the realization of their specialization and also their confidence, because I think the
Yeah,
confidence, so would you agree, is actually a key area as well?
yeah. So confidence is absolutely key, and the way we look at it is like there's five sequential steps they're going through. Their strategy, then defining their story, then learning how to communicate it well as a pitch in interviews, then the networking and applications and all that aspect that we mentioned, and then ultimately negotiations. Like, hey, you know, make more money. You can get a great job and just not have the money. They are not exactly sequential, because you start your negotiation starts when you reach out. It doesn't happen at the end. But still, underlying that is what we call performance psychology, or people refer to as mindset. So we're always helping them clear some of the obstacles, some of the things that they believe in themselves. And to be honest, when it takes someone long to find the job, it's much more a function of them having to clear more cobwebs in their mind, rather than like actually what they needed to do. Um, I borrow a saying from someone that most things in life are pretty easy. We're just constantly at war with ourselves. And so it's that elimination of that war is what we are trying to achieve with that mindset or performance psychology work.
I like that. I've got quite a few friends now that have been who are in work at the moment and looking for other roles, and they've either done multiple interviews or haven't been able to find anything. And I've always turned around and said the right thing will turn up,
Hmm.
or when they've had multiple interviews and it's not been the right, they've not actually gone through to get the role. And it's like, well, maybe you're not best fit for them, but that company, or maybe that company's actually not best for you. It's not a net trying to turn the negative side that we would normally see into a
Yeah,
positive of, do you know what? If they don't see you as a good fit, you're probably not, which means you probably won't enjoy it and you're probably not a good fit and it's not a bad thing. There's something else out there.
It's a bullet
agreed.
dodged. I
100%.
mean, I constantly see on LinkedIn friends saying that they go all the way through a process and actually and one of them was saying recently that the business changed all the terms of reference when it got to the end. Lower salary,
Mm.
different localization within the hierarchy, and all these sort of things. And you're thinking, well, it's probably best to dodge a job that is actually dodged. And I've certainly started jobs where I went to run a division and ended up with two divisions on day one. Um, and they were not good
Mhm.
experiences. I was a bit dumber then, and less aware of my worth. But
Yeah,
I learned the hard way, and it's not necessary to learn the hard way.
yeah, I agree. And yeah, we all have those horror stories of I had like through my clients, I've collected the worst horror stories, like absolutely terrible.
So, what advice, because we've mentioned around the job market, and sorry, we may have deterred the conversation, but it is very much at the moment. What advice would you give anyone? And in that scenario at the moment, I know a lot, and this will go out to, and I'm going to purposely tag actually a large amount of product owner and product manager friends that I have who are actually on the market, who I know personally myself, who are absolutely amazing at what they do. What advice would you give those in the current situation of how to kind of get them forward, other than contacting you direct? Um,
Yeah,
what advice could
Yes,
you give them?
are there some little steps they can make in their own rights? I think
yeah,
would be, you know.
absolutely. Okay, I'll say three things. So, first one, the biggest one is you got to take care of yourself. This is a difficult process with a lot of rejections and whatnot. So, just start to take care of yourself. Know that the market is tough right now, and it's okay if it takes you a little while to find the right thing. Second, I would say they need to really understand that 3 years ago, you could just be a great product manager and people would run to you. They'd be like, oh yeah, like absolutely, we want you. Recruiters will reach out. Now you really got to find your positioning correctly. You got to be, we call it the obvious solution to a certain set of problems that the companies are looking to solve. When you hit that nail on the head, it does mean you to go after fewer jobs, but you get a lot more success. And then number three is like as much as possible, if you can focus on what you're learning through this process and what you're growing, that is going to help you succeed. Because to be honest, where I live, Boston, some of my best networking contacts came from my first job search. 20 people rejected me, but they're still all 20 great contacts now. Some of them are very kind. They're like, "Oh, we rejected you because you were too overqualified." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not true. I just didn't do well." But still, we're great friends now. So keep that gain going during the process. That that's the best thing I would say. Oh, maybe one more. Network over applications online. Just please don't worry. Like applying online is mostly a last tactic that's a waste of time, or maybe like a low effort. Maybe this might result in something, but you gotta learn how to network and leverage your network as much as possible. People want to help you,
That's
believe me.
excellent.
That
Well,
is really good.
that's brilliant. Well, thank you very much. It's been a really insightful conversation. And how can people get in contact with you?
First of all, thank you, Sabrina and Carl. Really appreciate having me here. And LinkedIn would probably be the best way. My first and last name together, most easiest channel.
Okay, and
Perfect.
we'll put your LinkedIn link into the details of the video as it goes out. Well,
And
thank
and
you
hopefully
very much.
I appreciate it.
get you back on again soon because this area is actually a very, very interesting area. It's one of the hot topics, not just about, maybe understanding a little bit more about networking if you want to come back or any other topics. You're always very welcome. But thank you very much for your time. It's been a
I'd
pleasure.
love to. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.